Men who have been raped. What happened? How did you recover? I was 9 and with my aunt. My stomach was paining. She asked to look into it and went down on me. It happened for few years. I didn't knew what is happening that time, but when I shared it with my friends later, they called me Ussy. I also shared it with my ex during adulthood. She was sympathetic at first but then used it against me during any fights. Now, I have trust and intimacy issues and feels that I won't be ever experience what it feels to be in a healthy relationship. I feel like Charlie from the book Perks of Being a Wallflower. Not raped but saw .17 yo second day ever at work. Late 30s woman grabbed me by the testicles saying you like this big boy and twisted. I ended up in ed that night with testicular torsion. Lost lefty. Reported to HR, they said I had no complaint as I would have liked it. Sued them, HR lost evidence and said no complaint was ever made. During discovery, a newbie in HR, the only male, put a do not release file into the box accidentally. The lawyer for the employer immediately offered to settle. 12 HR employees were sacked. All female whose initials appeared on the missing file that the y'all said never existed. No charges ever got laid on any hour nor the woman who saw me. My ex-wife handcuffed me to a bed and tried to get me to have a three-way with her and one of my friends, another guy. She didn't go through with it and played it off as if it was a joke, but ITDID give me serious trust issues. Spoke about it at therapy and got laughed at. Learned the hard way that no one gives a UCK. I was 6 years old when my older brother helped himself to my innocence. Recovery? My parents didn't want anything to do with it and my brother has been avoiding me ever since I confronted him about it. I'm just stuck with this for the rest of my life and that's all I got. Edit. To all the people who voted or replied, thank you. I never thought there were so many people who cared. I won't forget about this. Much love to all people here. He was my best mate. We were 19. He put on a game he knew well and declared that the loser of every round had to drink. When that didn't work, he gave me pills he said were ecstasy. Scene missing. Scene missing. Suddenly I'm face down and my bole hurts. He sat on the edge of the bed crying and throws me out. I tell nobody but my partner, and we never speak again. Many years later, said partner tries to get us to connect. I broke up with her on the spot. Which was the right call, as I found out later she wanted a three-way. With my rapist. The rape, I was okay with. Sort of. I didn't remember anything, really. But that ucked me up. It took me years to trust anyone again, but I did. The love of someone good is the best curative possible. But if you can't get that, talk to a professional. And if you can't do that, a friend. And if you can't do that, internet strangers. Just don't let it fester. It happened to me at 8 when my parents would send me to get them some stuff from a mom and pop store. The owner wouldn't be there sometimes and it would be the assistant instead, and at that time she looked like she was in her 30s. IDK, all I know is that she would use Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards to lure me closer to her. I trusted her that she wouldn't do anything bad since she was an employee. And one time I asked her if she had some cards in stock and she said she thinks so, but the boxes are in the bathroom, which they were because the place was pretty small. And when I went in, she closed the bathroom door, put my pants down and she went down on me and gave me a handjob. I was so scared to death because as an 8-year-old, you're not going to understand anything of what's going on, not understand certain feelings and sensations. She traumatized me to the point that I no longer wanted to go to the store, and every time she was around my heart would race so fast and I would get extremely uncomfortable around her. She would put her hands on me and I would just absolutely hate it. I developed trauma from people touching me without my consent. So whenever someone touches me in a way that can be felt or seen as intimate, I shut down and clam up so fast. I don't like anyone whom I don't have deep trust with to be touching me at all. Even my friends now and then startle me and I tense up so bad. I get anxiety and feel like something terrible is going to happen even if it doesn't. Was on a football trip when much younger and this girl who was in the hotel with her friends told Mesh wanted to UCK me. I said I had a girlfriend and it wasn't going to happen, but thanks for Thigo boost. I went to bed that night after drinks etc. and my mate who was sharing the room with me told me this girl was going around the hotel trying to find my room and had found out where I was. He told me to move room so I did and she didn't find me that night. Next day the same thing happened. We all ended up back at the hotel after clubbing etc. and she wouldn't leave me alone. I traded rooms with another friend and went and drunkenly crashed in his room. She somehow got in and was sucking my ICK, trying to make it hard, and was trying to put a condom on me, at least. Another friend saw what was happening, door left open apparently, and shooed her out. I passed out again to wake up to her backed up against me and using my morning wood for X, without a condom this time. It took me a while to realize what was going on, and I eventually told her to get out. Obviously, I then had a massive panic as I had to go home to my girlfriend, and all the lads on the bus knew I'd had X with somebody. I was about 18 or 19 at the time. My girlfriend wanted X when I got home, and I obviously couldn't do it due to the condom, so told her what happened, and she went ucking mental and accused me of cheating on her. At the time, I didn't even realize that I'd done nothing wrong, apart from being too drunk to protect myself, and it led to us breaking up for a while before she eventually forgave me. I got an STI from that girl too and had to take a course of tablets. It was a really ucked up situation from somebody old enough to have known better and extremely predatory. I wish I'd been smart enough to realize what was happening, but this was the late 90s and rape against men wasn't a thing that was really thought about. I got drunk at her birthday party and went to sleep in her bed because she told me I could. I was drinking underage, so there was no way I was going anywhere until I was sober. I woke up with her on top of me. That's also how I lost my virginity. I recovered for the most part. I still have issues with women I don't know touching me, and am more reserved than I used to be. Cop chick working the desk at the police precinct I went into shamed me for trying to file a report, and he didn't bother trying again. Felt pretty disgusting for ages. Guess that feeling went away with time. Getting support was never an option. Australia has no sympathy for boys and men being raped by women. Over 10 years ago, I was almost 24, a man raped me, and after the incident, I got told by a doctor that I should not have this style of X. My body isn't made for it. She also told me that I am lucky that I was not a woman. If I was, it would be rape. I still feel guilt, shame, fear, because of that. I don't want people to come close to me and touch me. Was raped by an uncle, retired military, firefighter, from 7 to 13 years old. Violence and pain were his thing. Pretty standard story, using threats of killing me and my mom or my older brother if I ever spoke about it. Finally stood up to him just before my 14th birthday. From 13 to 18 years old, I kind of junkied out and started down the road of self-deprecating behavior. Finally told my parents at 18 years old, and of course no one believed me. 56 now, never had any quality relationships, nor have I ever been able to find therapy to alleviate the trust and intimacy issues that I carry. So the truth of the matter is I never really recovered from it. I was 15, had a girlfriend, but I was watching Super Troopers at a friend's house drinking and smoking weed when I fell asleep. I woke up choking on him and immediately vomited, but I was so tired and confused. His brother came down asking what was going on, but was reassured everything was on the U-panned up. I fell asleep again. When I woke up next, this friend was on top of me and inside of me, panic and fear. That's all I can remember. Told Mado keep it our secret or else he'd tell everyone I was gay, which at the time, to me, was a social death sentence. He groomed me for months before that and continued to abuse me for another year after. He broke into my house and chased me, pinned me to the couch. Showed up at my house in the middle of the night. Years have passed since then and he has since passed. I was 15 when it happened the first time. You never recover, you just adapt. You become more protective of yourself and others, more empathetic, more sympathetic, more angry. So much more angry. I've come close to ending my story on several occasions but seem to talk myself out at the last moment. These days I don't trust any man and am constantly in fight or flight. It's exhausting. Reading these stories breaks my heart. Rape is rape, regardless of gender. I read every story here and you're all really brave for speaking up about it. My brother did various things by framing it as a game of truth or dare. Despite being a strong and threatening dude already, he didn't have to threaten physical violence, he just had to threaten to tell our mother, which is a highlight to level of emotional abuse from that end of the family. Broke away from the family that's most inane at 24. Got therapy, learned Krav Maga for personal safety. Then dated someone especially abusive, another sexual abuse instance, get more therapy, take a 4-year break from dating to finish school and get a job, and start a great relationship. At age 36, my life couldn't be better, smiley face. Twice, once by a dude when under the influence of too many substances at an after party at a Rondo house. The second time by a woman under the influence of too much alcohol by someone I thought was a friend inside my own house. I'm now 45 and still single with no plans for relationships at all for the rest of my life. My dog ain't pulling that hit on me. My grandma used to make me give her oral and measured my ick, jerked me off, played with misshole from 10 to 12 years old. I don't think it messed me up too bad, but I am AEX, ORN, prostitute addict and alcoholic. To be fair, I was a ORN addict since second grade though.